So we are starting a new chapter, and we're still actually going to be talking about ecosystems, but we're going to be talking about how ecosystems change. We're going to start on page 166, and you should have your book open to this page along with your notes out for chapter 6, lesson 1. I'm going to begin reading on You Are There. The day is sunny, and the yellow wheat moves softly in the field beneath a blue sky. A strange black cloud seems to be moving towards you. Soon you see that it is not a rain cloud, but a swarm of millions of locusts. As you run for your home, you feel locusts crunch under your feet. The desperately hungry insects are everywhere, nipping and chewing in search of food. What will be the effect of such a huge swarm? And this isn't something that we really see in Wisconsin, but this is something that a lot of farmers see near where they farm. So we're going to be looking how animals change ecosystems, how humans can change ecosystems, and how that can be helpful or harmful, um, and if it can happen quickly or slowly. So ecosystems are always changing, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. People and animals may bring on these changes. So I'm going to have my notes here as we read. What kinds of changes could a huge swarm of locusts cause? In some parts of the world, locusts bring a great deal of trouble. As they move, they might feed on all the plants in the farm fields, causing food shortages for animals and people. Locusts have made paths 1,000 or 100 kilometers wide and 1,000 kilometers long. So they're making these crazy, crazy, crazy huge paths, like as big as football fields that are crazy. Like that's just the whole swarm of them. Not just one locust, not a couple at a time. This is thousands and thousands of locusts or little tiny flies at one time. Ecosystems are always being changed by organisms, wind, water, or other parts of the environment. So I'm going to write that down in my notes right away. It says ecosystems are always being changed. And then it's by organisms, so animals or plants, wind, water, or other parts of the environment. So there can be a lot of things that change the ecosystem. Swarms of feeding locusts can be harmful to farm fields. So we read that they could eat up a whole bunch of plants in farm fields, and that hurts not only the humans but also the animals that depend on that. By damming streams, or that means stopping them, so you see that in the picture right there. Beaver dams change the environment and stopping the flow of the water. Streams, beavers make new pond ecosystems where they are safe from wolves and other predators. For a few organisms, a new pond that floods their homes is bad news. But for other organisms, a pond is a new home and is helpful. Most changes in an ecosystem are not so dramatic, and not all changes are harmful. So, right away, I want to know that they're not all big changes, so are not dramatic. You might want to write down underneath it the word big. And not all changes are harmful. Some are going to be helpful. For example, earthworms slowly and quietly dig new holes through the soil, bringing oxygen to the plant roots. These worms improve the soil with digested materials they leave behind. So earthworms are actually something that's going to be helpful to the environment. So earthworms are helpful to soil when they dig holes and bring oxygen to the plant roots, which we know are something they need in order to survive. So that's where the earthworms are going to be helpful, and they're also still changing the ecosystem. I'm going to go ahead and flip to the next page. People change ecosystems. So it's not just animals that do it, it's also the people that do that. So people change ecosystems when they build houses, clear forests, or throw out garbage. And we know that that fits right in with our note. So people change ecosystems when they build houses, clear forests, or throw out garbage. People also change ecosystems by introducing new plants and animals. So, again, that's right in our notes. People also change ecosystems by introducing or bringing in new plants and animals. And we're actually going to be reading about that in our next section. People have carried plants and animals over deserts, mountains, and oceans. A new species can cause changes in an ecosystem. These changes often affect the survival of entire species. So these changes, like we talked about, can be really helpful or harmful. But it can impact the survival. So if it's a harmful change, there might be a species that doesn't survive. If it's helpful, that might help the animal then survive. So looking at the next section, zebra mussels are animals that people accidentally moved from one ecosystem to another. So if you look on your page right here, zebra mussels stick to hard surfaces, and they can block water pipes. So right away, I'm reading that they might block water pipes. I'm wondering if they are probably harmful, because that doesn't seem like it would help many people. But that's just kind of what they look like, almost looking like seashells. It seems that the zebra mussels stuck to ships that traveled from the other side of the world to the United States. So think of when the Europeans came to the New World, there might have been zebra mussels that stuck on their boat. So when the boat came over to the United States, then the zebra mussels came with. Zebra mussels do not have predators. So that means that there's no animal that eats the zebra mussels, so that they kind of stay balanced in their ecosystem. So their population has grown quickly. This species has changed the ecosystems of rivers and lakes in many ways. For example, huge numbers of zebra mussels can take the food and space needed by other species. These species may no longer be able to survive in the area. So we're going to see that one of the ways that new species can be brought into an ecosystem is on accident. The zebra mussels, nobody meant to bring those over, so that was by accident. But then we're going to be also reading how people might do it on purpose. And then, as we saw, that the zebra mussels do, and zebra, sorry. The zebra mussels do not have predators, and if there's organisms without predators, that's what can harm an environment. There needs to be balance. So you might just want to write that down to help you out. So need balance. We're going to continue reading. So now we're going to look at some plants. The garlic mustard plant was carried to the United States on purpose. Early settlers used garlic mustard for food and medicine. Unfortunately, animals do not eat the plant, so the plant has no predators. So the plant spread quickly. The plant can spread all over forest floors, keeping other plants from getting water and sunlight. How do you think it affects plants and animals? So we just saw how it can affect plants and animals. If they don't eat the garlic mustard, then they're going to be missing out on plants that they do eat. Garlic mustard seeds can grow even after being on the ground for 5 years. This means that removing the species from a place is a long, hard job. So it's really hard once these plants and animals are in an environment to get them out of it. Looking at our last section for today, garbage and pollution. Each American throws away about 1.8 kilograms of garbage a day. In all, that's about 200 million tons a year. Most of it goes into landfill. A landfill is a pile of garbage that is eventually covered with soil and grass. So you might have seen a landfill before where it looks just like a huge pile of garbage. Eventually that gets covered with soil and grass, so then it just looks like a little hill of grass. An open landfill can change the local ecosystem. After the landfill is covered up, the ecosystem might return to what it was like before the landfill. Some landfills used to leak pollution into nearby bodies of water. Now landfills are sealed to keep harmful materials from getting into the ground. So just looking at our notes from that first section, so landfills have liners. So that's basically at the bottom before they start pouring trash in. They have these liners. It'd be like a trash bag to keep harmful chemicals from leaking into the ground. So it's just basically like if you put a garbage bag in a trash can, it's so that the trash doesn't make the rest of the trash can all gross. And it's the same way that those liners keep the harmful chemicals from leaking into the ground and making the ground really gross. Acid rain is rain that has absorbed certain kinds of pollutants. Acid rain changes ecosystems because it pollutes soils and lakes. Plants and animals can die from this pollution. People can treat polluted lakes by dumping helpful chemicals into the water. So when they put those helpful chemicals into the water, it kind of balances out the harmful chemicals with the helpful chemicals so that the water is safe again. So looking at our last section, our last paragraph, acid rain is rain that has absorbed certain kind of pollutants. And if you think of the word pollutants, it sounds like pollution, and that's exactly what it is. It's just dirty, makes the water dirty and chemically. So if you want to write the word chemicals next to it, that may help you out. Acid rain changes ecosystems because it pollutes water. So the lakes and pollute soils and lakes. So with the soils, that's going to affect the farmers. So it's going to affect how they can grow things, but then also the water, that's going to impact both the wildlife in the water, or the fish and the animals in the water, but then also the drinking water. And if farmers use the water to water their plants, they're in trouble. So acid rain can be really harmful. And it can also, if you look at the picture down below, it can be harmful to forests too, because if there's acid rain, then that's going to impact the forest. So we saw today the different changes in ecosystems. If you would like, you can have out your worksheet for today. All right, we're going to start. Earthworms are blank to soil when they dig holes and bring oxygen to plant roots. If you go back, we can read about earthworms. We saw that earthworms slowly and quietly dig new holes. These worms improve the soil. So let's see which word best fits in there. Earthworms are acid rain to soil. That doesn't make sense. Earthworms are harmful. I know that they aren't harmful. Let's check the next one. Earthworms are helpful. That does make sense. So earthworms are helpful to soil when they dig holes and bring oxygen. So helpful. Soils and lakes affected by blank can change ecosystems. So I'm going to look right at the last section because I know it's talking about soils and lakes, and that's talking right here. Acid rain changes ecosystems because it pollutes the soils and lakes, so I know it's affected by acid rain. All right, and then I want you to do 3 and 4 on your own, and then going on organisms, wind, or water can change ecosystems. That one is ecosystems are always changing, being changed by organisms, wind, and water. So I know that that is true. Every change that occurs in an ecosystem is harmful. I can look up here and earthworms bring change, and I know that it's helpful, so I know that this is false. People change ecosystems when they clear forests. So looking right there, people change ecosystems when they build houses, clear forests. Yep, that is true. Organisms without predators harm an ecosystem. So think about, to answer that one, think about the garlic mustard plant and the zebra mussels. Did they have predators? Were they helpful or harmful? I want you to answer that one on your own. And then this last question, it says, what are 2 ways new species of organisms can be introduced to an ecosystem? So you can look at your notes. So new species can be brought into an ecosystem on accident or on purpose. So I want you to start with that. 2 ways new species can be brought into a new system or brought into an ecosystem is on purpose or accident. Then there's a second part. It says, give an example of a species that has been introduced to the United States and tell what its effect has been. All right, so I'm going to give you the first part. You can either write about the zebra mussels or the garlic mustard plant. Tell me how it got here and was it helpful or harmful. That is the second part of this question. You should fill the rest of those lines telling me either about the garlic mustard plant or the zebra mussels, how they got here, and what its effect has been. So then you can go ahead and finish that off for lesson 1.